Never Stop Learning, week 295. We're going to take a quick look at Animated GIF basics in Adobe Photoshop CC 2017. All right, so big shout out to Blue Code. Thanks for bringing up this topic. We're going to be going over a couple different ways to work with animated GIFs and how to save them off so you can use them on future projects. All right, so to get started, I'm going to be using this red ball here for my animation. And to create an animation, you want to go into the window menu at the top, scroll down till you find Timeline. Clicking on that, it's going to bring up the Timeline panel for you. All right, over here, it says Create Frame Animation. Yours might say Create Video Timeline. Just click on this drop-down menu and choose Create Frame Animation, and then click on this big button here. All right, that creates the first frame for your animation in the timeline. So this is where you want to reposition your actor anywhere you need it for the first frame. Over here, I have frame 1 selected. Just to the right, we have this icon here. This is going to duplicate the selected frame. All right, so when I click on that, I have an exact copy of frame 1. With frame 2 selected, I'm going to reposition this ball. I'm going to make it crash down here at the bottom. All right, that looks good. Now I'm ready for frame number 3. With frame 3 selected, I'm going to reposition this guy and make it crash over here at the top. All right, I have these 3 frames. I got 1, 2, and 3. And that's what I'm going to use for my animation. But I have to create the frames that go in between these. All right, with frame 1 selected, I'm going to come over here to the right and choose this option here, Tweens Animation Frames. All right, clicking on that once brings up the Tween window. All right, in here you have some options. All right, Tween Width. Next frame is the one I want to go with, but you could also choose last frame, and if you had a selection, you could choose that as well. I'm going to stick to next frame. Now, how many frames do you want to add? I've got mine set to 5. You could back off on that, or you could add more. If you add more frames, it's going to add more time to your timeline. If you back off on it, the transitions are going to be much faster. All right, next, we have layers. You could choose all layers or just selected layers. Then for parameters, you could choose position, opacity, or effects. I'm going to leave all these guys turned on and then click OK. That creates the next 5 frames for me. All right, notice the ball is starting to move all its way down. And then finally, when it crashes, I'm ready to create the frames that go in between 7 and 8. So I'm going to target number 7 and then choose Tween. I'll keep the same settings and then go to the final frame, which is now frame 13. All right, this time when we go into the Tween, notice it says Tween with previous frame. I actually do not want to create the next 5 frames based off of frames 12 and 13. I want it to be based off of frames 13, which is the last one currently, and frame number 1, which is the first frame. I'll click OK, and that's going to allow me to loop these guys forever. All right, if I come all the way over here to the end, notice frame 18 is closer to the starting point. All right, here's frame number 1, and now I'm ready to see what we've created. All right, over here at the bottom, if I hit play, it runs through the animation one time. All right, hit play again. That looks great. But if you want it to loop, come over here to the left where it says once, just click on this little flyout menu. You could choose 3 times, forever, or other. All right, when you click on other, you could set a specific loop count. All right, you could put 3, 12, whatever you want. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to choose 3 in here and then play. And that's going to loop 3 times for me. All right, before I go into the export, the only buttons we haven't gone over are the ones on the end. Now, if I click on this little trash can icon, it's going to delete the selected frame. I want to keep it, so I'm going to say no. Over here on the left, we have this option here. This is going to convert to video timeline. All right, notice the timeline changes. I'm going to hit play. It gives us the playback. But I'm going to undo that and just stick to these frames. All right, now I'm ready to export. Over here at the top under File, choose Export, and the option you want to go with is Save for Web Legacy. All right, clicking on that once is going to bring up the Save for Web window. Now you have some options over here on the bottom right. You can change the image size. You have control over the looping. And you could even play it back if you want to. All right, I'm gonna hit save, and then I can save it anywhere I want on my machine. Notice over here at the top, it's giving me the GIF extension. All right, I'm gonna hit cancel, and cancel to get out of that. Let's see another way to work with our animated GIFs. Here I'm going to be using layers. All right, so down at the bottom, I'm going to create a frame animation. Now for frame 1, I only want my background. So I'm going to turn off some layers, turn this guy off and this one. All right, I have my background set. All right, I'm going to create the next frame. And I like to bring back some of the text, but not all of it. All right, let's create frame number 3. And that's where we'll have all the text finally showing. Just like we did before, I'm going to go to frame number 1 and create my tweens. I'll use the exact same settings. Do the same thing, go to the second to last one, back off on that, create my tweens, click OK. And then I'll go to my final frame, and I'd like to use first frame for my tweens. There we go, click OK. And that looks good. Now let's loop this guy 3 times and let's see what we've created. I'm going to hit play. And that looks good. That's pretty much what we did earlier, but what I don't like is that it doesn't stop anywhere. It doesn't stop so no one could ever read this. So let's set this up so people could actually read what's happening here. All right, now the first time I'd like to create a pause is when the title of the series appears. All right, so with frame 7 selected, over here at the bottom, when you click on this, you get a little menu. And I'm going to switch over to 1 second delay. All right, next, I'd like for this to pause once the name of the episode is at 100%. So that's going to be frame 13. I'm going to have that pause for 2 seconds. All right, and then I'd like to go to the final frame. And this is not what I want for my last frame. I wouldn't want it to pause at this particular spot. So I'm going to add a new frame, frame 19. I'm going to make some changes in the layers panel by turning off that text. There we go. And for the delay, I'll go with 2 seconds. Looping 3 times is going to work out good for me. So let's start from the beginning and then hit play. There's a pause, another pause, and then it continues. And it's going to loop back. There we go. And now this is easier for people to read. So there you have it, folks. That's a quick look at animated GIF basics in Adobe Photoshop CC 2017.